Hi everyone, Darren here, and this is the fifth installment of the Map Awareness series. We can see here that I'm on Great Wall. It is standard battle, and the tank that I've chosen for this one is the STB-1. Now, normally, as these games are, and I'm going to try and not have these games every time, it just so happens that I have these games, these good games we're showing during live streams. Thus, as usual, the audio is turned all the way down because I cannot separate my voice and turn it off. And I have a camera and I don't want to confuse everyone, so I have it blocked again as usual. But we load in here. I took a look at the teams. I noticed I did have a Chiefs player on my team, but I'm going to go left because I know that going left is normally where I go. I like to fight in the bottom left-hand corner of the area or right around that mountain. Sometimes I go up the hill, sometimes I hide around the side. I figured because I'm fast enough, I wanted to go all the way down, try and get some early spots on the enemy tanks going there. Initially, I knew that we were a bit, flank heavy in terms of the amount of people going my direction, and we didn't have a whole lot of people going up the towards AB0. Um, Really, AB0 is a pivotal spot, but mostly in this whole southern, southwestern section of the map is just as, maybe even arguably more vital in this map for map control because it is almost one of the most direct routes to the enemy base. Now, I come up, I spot a couple tanks. I don't really have the best line of sight for these, and I'm actually honestly surprised that I managed to get a shot into the Death Star. Now, I notice that I'm actually kind of glad that we did have a solid enough force come this direction of our tanks. Because we meet up with an enemy force that is equally in tank number, if not a little bit more. And so I'm playing the ridgeline using the maximum gun depression of my tank, the low profile, the fast reload of the tank, to just pop some shots. Now, I was dealing with a ton of heavy frontal armor in front of me, so no hesitation realizing that because of this brawl and the fact that the northern side of this tiny mountain that I'm fighting around is looking like it might get overrun. I switched to the heat rounds, and I'm just trying to whittle down the hit points as quickly as possible. The whole point of this video is that I'm keeping, while I may be stationary in this whole section of the map most of the time, I'm actually watching the mini map in my bottom right hand corner, trying to keep an eye out of what's going on around this mountain. And as I see that the team up north is starting to lose this, they're getting pushed down the hill, giving the red team an advantage up there, and they're just slowly getting whittled away, even though that we are winning and we are up by one tank. It's just that the red team now has an advantage, and I'm keeping tabs on that. I almost thought about going and trying to help them, and then I realized I'd put myself at a disadvantage. So instead, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to actually try and get a better angle on the Badger. And luckily, I managed to. The 60 TP provided a little bit of cover. He stayed there right where he was to allow me to get around behind him, and I moved, and I managed to put a good shot into the Badger. Yes, I am firing heat because at this point, you can see the red team has essentially just demolished what remains of the tanks that went up to the around the other side of this like tiny mountain, and now we're fighting in a two-front war battle here around this mountain. And with my armor as a Japanese medium tank, it's not the best. So I'm constantly looking at this map, trying to watch for the tanks to my left, watch for the tanks to the right, trying to keep and watch the tanks behind me, trying multiple times, trying to, every time I saw a tank get lit up on the map, I made sure to at least try and identify what tank it was and identify the threat and decide where I should angle my tank. Luckily, Chiefs in the T110E3 is doing a fantastic job helping hold the enemy back. By the looks of it, it's literally just me and the T110E3. We're sitting here fighting both sides. I'm going to run the ridgeline while the E3 pushes up against the rest of the tanks coming around behind us. The last third friendly that was with us gets taken out again by the IS-7 or the 277. I managed to take out the 277, but now an E5 is rolling up. And the E3 sees this. He notices. He goes to put pressure on them, and I see the Death Star rolling up the hill, and I'm going to use my gun depression and my fast rate of fire to put a shot into the Death Star, hoping he'd back down. He's still pushing up, though, because he knows I'm reloading. The E3's preoccupied trying to hold that flank. He's trusting that I'm going to try and deal with the Death Star. The Death Star pushes up on me, thinking he's going to get a nice, easy one-shot. He misses. I take advantage of this to try and get around behind him, get around to his side, get around to basically where the gun can't get. But I put myself into this awkward position of where it's now a turning battle, and I'm backing up at 20 kilometers an hour. So I've put myself at a disadvantage. I miss that last shot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. I'm going to die. He overturns, and I push past, realizing the opening I have. He rams me, kills himself. I laughed. I released a hearty sailor's laugh when that happened. And so now, realizing the health situation of myself, I'm going to stick with the E3 as protection. I saw the IS-7 fired, and I go push forward, and I just take care of it because I don't want the E3 to. I didn't know if the E3 was reloading or not. Now I was going to go push up this mountain and link up with the rest of my teammates, but then I realized the position of I need to try and go back and defend the base because these other two tanks might be pushing towards our base to cap, and so I'm going to roll with the E3. A little bit of frame rate drop right there. I don't know exactly what just happened. That did happen to me in the game. It happened a little bit during the game here, but the E3's pushing through. I'm going to try and scout and spot for the E3 so he can make a play of what he needs to do, prioritize his actions, and a little skeptical about what's going on, but I'm watching the map to try and see if any of the tanks get spotted by the teammates up on the other side of the wall. They both get spotted up there on that ridge, and so I realized that this is a great opportunity for me to come around to behind them, beside them. Technically, it's both, and get some nice, good shots in. I'm using APCR in this because I wanted the guaranteed not going to get absorbed in their tracks round, and especially when I saw that the Panzer 7 was full health, but he had his back to me, so I didn't really need to worry about heat or anything. I'm able to safely put rounds into the Panzer 7 and back off. I noticed that the Progetto 65 is going to try and take care of me because he's up on hit points on me, and he thinks I'm going to be an easy kill. So I try and fall back towards the E3 as he commanded me to, or told me to fall back to him, and I realize in the opening or the opportunity that we have, I do that. The Progetto takes the bait of chasing me, and he doesn't realize the E3 is on my side of the wall, and by the time he spots the E3, it's too late. The E3 was ready, and he takes care of the Progetto, not only saving my life, but knocking down one of the two remaining tanks. And it's at this point here that I'm able to just simply farm the rear of the Panzer 7, and it's at this point, it's literally game over. I rack up over 7,000 damage. It was a very, very good game, and I can't give the E3 enough credit for having my back on that corner and holding his own and trusting me to be able to hold my own and protect his back as well. Overall, it was a very, very good game, very palm sweaty because of how stressful it was trying to deal with the overwhelming force, but it's just that I'm pointing out of how well reading the map and realizing when tanks are spotted and reacting to what tanks are spotted and prioritizing how to face your armor, that is what you want to take away from this game. And that concludes today's video on map awareness. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But until next time, this has been Darren. of WotC Academy.